Thanks for joining us on another episode of The Grind. Here's your host, JB.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back. We've got another great episode lined up for you this evening. We're going to have Coach that's going to join us here in just a second. And then we have another special guest joining us tonight. Codi Russell will join us for the last half of the episode. So before we get Coach on, do us a big favor. Share us, retweet us, go subscribe to us on YouTube. Whatever it may be, whatever platform you're on, we would definitely appreciate that. Help spread the good word of App State Wrestling. But without further ado, let's go check in with the head coach of the program. Coach, how are things going in the Bentley household tonight?
Oh, it's going well, Jeremy. Pretty quiet here at the Bentley house tonight. I'm enjoying a nice takeout meal myself and just unwinding and getting ready to make the trip to Chattanooga in the morning. So,
yeah, big road trip to Chattanooga, Coach, and we won't get too wrapped up in that one yet because we got a pretty good showing there at the Open there in Boone. But sounds like the family's headed down the mountain. Yeah,
the wife took the kids, and they always go down to. When we go to some of our matches, they'll go down a day early and just try to visit some of the local attractions, take the kids to museums and stuff like that, just to kind of get them out and about in the wintertime. And, and then they'll be at our matches on Sunday.
Yeah, it'll be I already know what your answer is going to be, but I would tell you from the fans' perspective, probably the biggest duel of the season so far. Chattanooga is always strong. And I know the coach's answer is going to be every duel is the biggest duel of the season, but it's going to be a good one for sure, Coach. And it's good to see that your family's able to make the trip this season. Obviously, I don't think last season there was much travel with families, I'm sure, involved. So good to hear that they're going to be able to join you and the team down there Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, well, you are right. I mean, this is the biggest duel of the season because it's the next duel, and obviously we've got a long-standing rivalry with Chattanooga dating back, really, back in the 70s and 80s, and they've had a really good program for a long time, and we always have, a pretty good competition, with them, and obviously they've. Obviously they're going to be wanting to, come after us and, especially in their home gym, try to knock us off. And, we're excited about the challenge and, excited for the opportunity to compete again.
Yeah. We'll definitely get to more and chat more about Chattanooga, Coach, but we definitely want to hear your take on the Appalachian Open before we get into Chattanooga anymore. What was your kind of your takeaway from it?
Well, I think, honestly, looking back on it a couple of days after competition, one of the things that I think, was a takeaway for me was that we're starting to build some depth in some weight classes. You look at some of those weight classes like 133 and 141, where we had 3 of the 4 placers were Appalachian State wrestlers. And, I think that's the kind of depth that we're trying to build at all the weight classes. It's going to take, a little more scholarship money and, a lot of hard work with us coaches in the recruiting process, but that's the goal. We want to have that kind of depth and that kind of competition at each weight class. But I was very happy to see that. We had a lot of guys that wrestled really well, a lot of young guys getting an opportunity to step up and, compete in varsity gym in front of our fans. And, it was just a great day of competition, a good look into the future of the program and kind of some of the young guys that you could see in our lineup here in the near future.
Yeah, there was obviously, as you said, Coach, some of the names, right, that we don't see on the starting lineup. Even had an impressive weekend there. I think one that people probably have became familiar with is Heath Garnier. Obviously, not the championship way he would have liked to have won the championship, but being awarded the championship there from the medical forfeiture. Got to be good to see that young man in that position kind of this early in his career.
Yeah, absolutely. Heath's having a phenomenal freshman campaign. I mean, he's got one of the best records on our team. And honestly, I'm not sure if I would have wrestled him in that tournament, but he didn't get a chance to wrestle against Gardner Webb, so it had been a little while since he'd competed, and I didn't want him to have more than a 10-day layoff between competitions. So him being a young guy and not getting a chance to compete against Gardner Webb, we thought it was a good opportunity for him to get some more matches, get some more experience. And the one thing I've seen out of Heath is that with each competition, he's learning and growing and getting better. And so he's got a long, a lot of great skills and a long list of ways that he can win wrestling matches. And I think that's one of the things that makes him so exciting. And it's even more exciting that he's very young. So.
Yeah, for sure, and it's good to see that young man getting a taste of that sort of level of victory this early in his career, kind of build that confidence. Obviously, he's been in varsity gym enough this season. He's used to that pressure. Unattached Ethan, performing very well against the starter at North Carolina at 133 as well.
Yeah, Ethan's had a great year this year. Obviously, we made the decision to redshirt him with the depth we have at 133, and he's placed at about every single tournament he's been in all year long. Even the Southern Scuffle. So I'm seeing him make tremendous jumps, and he's definitely showing that he's very capable. And then also at that weight class, we had Kobe Early pin the number 10th ranked kid in the country. And I thought that was a big win for him, a returning national qualifier, 10th ranked kid in the country from North Carolina. So a lot of great things happened in that weight class for us at that App Open.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about the 174 with Brett. That's kind of a new name for probably a lot of the fans that are just used to paying attention to the duels and that sort of thing. Would it come down to the final bracket with the number 14th ranked kid in the weight class at North Carolina? Tell us a little bit about Brett. What do we have to look forward to from him?
Well, Brett Mordecai, which we call him Chopper. I think that's his name that most people know him by, is Chopper Mordecai. And Chopper's been in our program now. I think this is year 3, and he's finally starting to come into his own. I think he's settled in at the 174-pound weight class, and he's shown tremendous improvement over the last, I would say, 18 months. I mean, he had some really good wins last year as well. A tremendous jump from his true freshman year. And then, I've seen a growth and a maturity even from last year. And, he's been right there nipping on, Thomas Flitz's heels and, excited, to just get his opportunity to compete. So when he's, hopefully when he gets his opportunity to start for us, he'll be ready to go.
Yeah, he's definitely going to have some big shoes to fill, that's for sure. So good to see that young man getting competition like that and doing pretty well against it. Coach Chad at the 125, true freshman, went 2-0 with pins.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't have a lot of options in his weight class, meaning that he had to wrestle the same guy twice because there was only 2 of them in the weight class. Which was unfortunate, but at least he got some matches, and, I was worried earlier in the week that there was only one guy registered at 125 that he might not get any matches, but, I was thankful for him to be able to get a couple of opportunities to compete in varsity gym. His family was down, and, he's really come on as of late as well, and, excited to see him and kind of what his future's looking like.
Nice. Yeah, that's good to see a true freshman like that be able to get some time in the gym, especially with family in town. That's got to be pretty important for those folks. We've got Sean Carter. Looked like he was at 3rd place in the 133 for Sean Carter.
Yeah, that's right. Sean took 3rd and Kobe Early took 4th.
Yeah, that's Sean staying strong, right? I mean, this is nothing unexpected from Sean. He probably wished he would have finished or hoped he would have done a little bit better, probably planning to do a little bit better. But definitely good to see Sean get some matches as well now that we have Codi Russell back in the lineup. Jacob at 285, looks like he got in some good competition as well on Saturday.
Yeah, Jacob came away with a third place finish, and for Jacob, it's all about building confidence. He's got a lot of skills. He's a pretty good athlete, and moves well for a heavyweight. But I think one of his biggest weaknesses is just lack of confidence. And so, hopefully, getting his hand raised a couple of times last weekend will kind of start help bridging that gap and finding more confidence, each time that he competes. Because if he can get to the point where he can just go out and wrestle and execute skills, I think he's actually, got a lot of potential. And so hopefully we'll see that start taking place and, him taking shape as he gets more matches in.
Isaac got some time in at 141 as well, Coach. Sounds like he looked like he did fairly well in that weight class, and says he finished fourth in the bracket Saturday.
Yeah. So we had the 141 was another weight class where we had 3 out of 4 placers were App State guys. Ike Byers been in our program now 3 years. Keeps making tremendous jumps and improvements, and ended up taking fourth in the weight class. And I think he lost in an overtime sudden victory to his teammate Tyler Kellison in the semifinals, which that match could have went either way. But I think it separated them was riding time. And so he's growing, he's getting better. So is Tyler Kellison. Tyler, had a good tournament, had a couple of good wins. And we're excited kind of, for where those guys and their development's at.
Yeah. Will Miller sounds like he had the match of the day. Looks like it took him into overtime, tied up 14-all, and it reads here that Miller pinned him in the first 30 seconds of sudden victory.
Yeah, it was a match. He went down early. I think he was down 6-0 at one point, and kind of clawed and fought his way back. And shoot, I don't even remember what the score was at the end of regulation. It was something like 13-13 or maybe even more than that. I know there was a lot of points scored, and he ended up. We knew that Will had an advantage because the guy was starting to fade, and he got into a nice scramble, and we spent a lot of time in these cradles, from all positions, and he slapped the cradle on, and kind of found himself with an opportunity to get a pin.
Yeah, it sounded like I wish I would have been able to see that one. I bet you that was pretty exciting for the spectators as well. Coach, sounds like a pretty good turnout there. Again, like you said, not a lot of the starters in the lineup. There was a couple of them that showed up there, but some pretty good results for some of those guys in the depth, like you said, trying to build that depth out. You and I have talked about that several times, just the difference between the programs and some of our opponents is simply depth, and to be able to see that sometimes, obviously coming into form like it is now, has to be pretty exciting for the direction that is trending. Let's look forward now to Chattanooga. As you said, it is the biggest duel of the season so far because it's the next one. But some would say that it might be the first test of the SoCon duels, the SoCon competition duels. So what's you said a long history, I think, back to the 70s with the schools. Obviously, Chattanooga's had their fair share of victories in the SoCon. They're not a school that's used to losing, that's for sure. And as you said, when you go down there, their venue is looked at kind of a lot like ours, right? Like they've got their own version of Varsity Gym in Chattanooga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I expect it to be a hostile environment on Sunday, which I actually like. I think it's better for our guys. I would much rather be in a hostile environment with fans cheering against us than in an empty arena with nobody there. I think our guys are used to noise and crowds, and so I actually think it favors our guys when the crowds are big and when it's hyped up. Like that's the environment that we love to compete in because it's just like when we compete at home. And so, whether they're cheering against us or for us, we like competing in front of a crowd. And Chattanooga's, they've done a nice job of, kind of piecing together a team. I know they've got several transfers in this last year, and they're a very, very strong team, and probably a lot better than their record shows. But I think until the last couple of weeks, I don't think they had their full lineup together until after the second semester. So I don't think their record's really indicative of kind of the team that they are. So we fully expect them to be ready to battle, and we've got to be ready to battle and focus on what we do, and go in there and take matters into our own hands. We can't sit around and expect it to be easy. We're going to have to be ready for a fight, and we're going to have to bring the fight ourselves.
Yeah, I was just going to comment on that I don't think their record indicates at all who they are as a team. It definitely appears that some of their starters were still preparing, still getting ready for those starting roles in some of those early duels. They had a lot of early duels with competition outside of the SoCon. And they definitely didn't come out on the better end of a lot of them, the majority of them. But Campbell, we all know Campbell is good. They're the ones that won the SoCon last year, and they took it to Campbell. They it wasn't anything that Campbell went in and walked away with it. And I think that anybody that wrestles those guys, no matter what the program is you have to be prepared for a dogfight, because they are not going to roll over on you. That is for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's why we try to, really emphasize to our guys, you prepare the same and you get ready for a fight every time.
Yeah.
Because, you can't make matches like, well, I know this match is going to be easy, so I'm going to be less ready and, less prepared. And then this one, I know the guy's going to fight me hard, so I'm going to get more prepared. Like, when you do that, that's when you set yourself up for inconsistencies. And so, the message is the same this week as it always is. Our goal is to dominate, and, we got to do that by being offensive and scoring points and, wrestling hard in all three positions. And if we do that, I'm very confident in our guys. I mean, I know what we've got in our room. I know the preparation and the work that our guys are doing, not just right now, but what they did all last summer. And when I look for confidence, or when I need confidence, I just look back at the way our guys work in the summertime.
Yeah.
And I know there's no other program that their guys are making the sacrifice and the time commitments that our guys are in the summertime. And so, that gives me confidence. I feel like when we get in a dogfight, that's when those hours and blood, sweat, and tears are going to really show out.
And I don't know that there's another team in the SoCon that say they wrestled a top 5 school and a top 20 school in the first 2 weeks of dual season. So, we've said it before, the start of the season was rough, a big test very early for the guys in the program. I definitely think that we came out pretty good on both of those occasions. Obviously not the results that you or the program would have hoped for, or the student athletes there. But, iron sharpens iron. If you want to get better, you got to wrestle schools like that with competition. So I'm pretty confident you guys can go down there to Chattanooga and do the same against those guys and bring back another victory. Coach, I'm looking forward to watching it Sunday. I'm going to be glued in front of the TV. 2 p.m. Sunday, App State goes down to Chattanooga, an old school SoCon foe, for a battle. I mean, you can call it a duel all you want, but it's going to be a battle. Wherever that duel takes place, it is a battle, and they're ready, and just like App State is ready. So looking forward to watching that on Sunday, Coach, and best of luck with it, and safe travels down there.
All right, thanks a lot. Have a good one, Jim.
Appreciate it, Coach. Anything last minute before we let you go off of here this evening?
No, we've got a big match coming up Sunday, and then obviously the next 2 weekends are really important for us and our goals. So it's just it's the same, getting our guys prepared and being excited to compete. And like you mentioned, we know this is going to be a battle Sunday, but those are the kind of things we welcome. Like that's what we want to be wrestling for. We want to be wrestling in matches that matter. We don't want to be wrestling in matches that don't matter. We want to be in a heated battle where fans care, and fan bases care, and the administration cares, and we want to be wrestling for championships, and that's that's what our guys are prepared for.
Yes, sir. Next step Sunday, Coach. Good luck with it. Safe travels, and I'll see you back in varsity on the 13th.
Sounds good. Take care.
All right, Coach. Have a good one. Let's go check in with Mr. Codi Russell. Let's see what he's up to this evening. Codi, appreciate you hanging out there in the green room.
Yes, sir.
Good to have you back. Good to chat with you. It's been great watching your performance already this season. Looked like you were able to get to Sean Carter, get some reps in there for you for a couple of the duels this season. But it's good to see you back in that starting lineup.
Yes, sir. I love love being back in the lineup. It sucks being on the bench watching and stuff like that. So I'm glad to be back in it.
I bet you are. So let's talk a little bit about how the season has gone for you so far. Had some good results, as you said. You were second to Sean on the bench there for a little bit. I'm sure that recovering or doing whatever it is that you were doing. But let's talk about the start of the season so far for you. How do you feel that you've done and performed so far this season?
Probably not my best year. I think I was hoping for a better turnout coming back for a sixth year, but I think I've lost to some people I probably shouldn't have lost to. I've also had some very good matches, but coming into the year, the two tournaments I wanted revenge on the three tournaments was Keystone. I had never placed at Keystone. The Scuffle, I'd never placed at the Scuffle. Always wrestled bad at both those tournaments, and then lastly NCAA's. So going into Keystone, I placed second, so that was a little bit. It was good for me to place at that tournament, and then going into Scuffle, I had a great first day, and then I hit my first semi slide of my life and took sixth place on the second day. But still, I had never placed there, and honestly, I think I've made it to day 2 one time there, so it was still an upgrade. And glass half full, it was a good tournament.
Yeah, man, for sure. And you still have the last one left, right? The biggest one, the last one of the career is still looming out there for you. So you finish out the season strong, like I know you're capable of, and you're right there knocking on the door again for another opportunity.
Yes, sir. You place at nationals, and it doesn't even matter what you did for the past 5 years. As long as you place once, you're good to go.
That's it. And as you know, the name of the game is to peak when the nationals show up, right? Be in your best shape, your highest performing level on that week, and that's all that matters in the rest of the season is making sure that you can perform there. Definitely looking forward to watching you progress through the season. So with that, obviously you've named 2 of them that were on your radar for this season. The last one is kind of the nationals and making sure that you peak around that time. Got a little bit of competition still ahead of us in the SoCon with the duels, and then obviously the SoCon tournament. What's your take on how do you take the SoCon duels and then leading into the tournament? What's your outlook for that?
It's awesome. These next couple duels coming up are great. All duels matter. You can't lose to some teams and then beat the best teams and expect to win the SoCon. Every duel matters, but these next few that are coming up are really big, and our team works so hard. I'm just ready to see us go out there and show everybody how hard we really work.
Yeah, I can tell you we're looking forward to it as well, right? We've seen some tough duels with NC State and UNC in town. We've seen some that haven't been so tough in varsity gym this season. Obviously heading away for a road trip against a big team, right? A Chattanooga, as we've said with Coach. I mean, these guys are going to come, right? And I tell this to everybody, and I think as a fan base, I think our fans are used to it, and the student athletes are probably used to it. No matter who you wrestle, you're getting everybody's best shot just because of the school you're from.
Oh yeah, and we like that. That's why you wrestle. It's a one-on-one competition. You don't want to go out there and wrestle the easiest guy every time. You want to be looking for the best competition, the most hostile environment. That's what makes it fun. That's why you do it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good duel Sunday down in Chattanooga. What's your you've wrestled down there a few times. What's your best memory of Chattanooga so far?
My best memory in Chattanooga has to be my first year at App. I think on paper they were supposed to beat us. They had a really good 133-pounder that was a returning qualifier at 141, and he dropped down, and he got out to a quick lead on me. I think he was up 4-0 or 4-1, and I wound up coming back and pinning him. And then it was just an awesome duel. It came down to the last match, and Carey went out there and won the match and won us the duel. I think we wound up winning I think it was 18-16. We were losing by a point going into the last match, so it was awesome. I think we had more fans than they did there because my whole family came. It's only like a 2-hour drive from them, and it was awesome. It was a great experience.
I think that duel has been a favorite for a lot of guys we've talked to. I think Kerry mentioned that. Obviously, he was the one that won it, so I think he's mentioned it. I think even I think Coach Randall even mentioned it, and maybe Ryan had mentioned that duel as well. So that one definitely sticks out in a lot of people's minds, right? Like that's a big rivalry school, and to go down there and take that win from them in the last individual match there, that's got to be pretty exciting. But in the same sense, right, those guys hope to do the same thing, right? Like their competition level that they look at us is kind of the same way.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a rivalry. Yeah, I think Coach Randall, he had beaten this guy named Scotty Boykin who was ranked in the top 20, and I want to say Randall had never beat him before, and Randall went out there and won, which pretty much kept us in the match for Kerry to win for us. So, yeah, anybody that was on that team would probably say that was the best duel experience for them.
Yeah, for sure. Just the idea of it, and as Coach said and you said, the venue Chattanooga, right? Like their fan base is as rabid about wrestling as ours is. It's like almost a mirror, right? Varsity Gym in Chattanooga is pretty much the same thing.
Oh, yeah. I would like to say our fans are a little bit better. Our venue's a little bit better, but that's just Chattanooga.
Yeah, of course. But they definitely travel well. You know, when they come to Boone, they bring a fan base that usually supports them pretty well as well in Boone. So definitely looking forward to Sunday. Cody, the last time we chatted with you, we learned a little bit about what you like about Boone and App State and that sort of thing. But tonight, let's get to some of the characters on the team, right? The staff, some of the characters in the locker room, and maybe some things that the fans don't know about the staff or about your teammates there. What's some good JMB stories that you have from Coach, the head coach there, that not everybody may know about?
Oh, Coach Bentley? Man. Well, most people don't know that he was a basketball star until 7th or 8th grade. And then that's when he started wrestling, I guess, or something like that.
Oh, so Coach Bentley's got some basketball moves?
He claims. I don't know. I don't know. He won't ever play anybody one-on-one, but he was a basketball star.
He won't play you one-on-one. Will he pick up a 3-on-3 game or anything like that with the team, or?
I don't know. We've never seen him play. We play one of our warm-up games we like to play is handball, and he never plays, but if you stay on Christmas break or maybe during the summer when there's only a few guys there, he'll get in and play, and he's pretty athletic. I'd give it to him. Nice.
So Coach Bentley was a basketball phenom before he was a wrestling star. That's pretty good. I'm gonna have to remember that one. What's some of the other characters with your teammates? You know, we've heard the John. He's got a pretty good impression of Coach Bentley. We've heard from Will. Will seems pretty laid back and kind of quiet, it seems like, but talk to us about some of the teammates and that sort of thing. Who's some of the other characters within in the wrestling room?
Oh, well, Will was real quiet until he started winning a lot of matches, and now we can't get him to shut up in the locker room. He just talks, talking trash to everybody from one side of the room to the next.
Does he?
Yeah. He's a talker now.
Really? See, he doesn't come across that way. Even when I see him, you know, I'm around you guys enough, whether it's the duels or whatever it may be while you guys are at Varsity Gym, but he always seems to be like the guy in the back that doesn't really say much. So it's kind of interesting that you say that, because not who I picture Will to be for sure.
Yeah. I mean, he backs it up, though. He goes out there and wins matches, so.
Man, and that guy's had some brutal matches this season. I think he tries to take it down to the wire to make everybody sweat as often as he can this season. So it's kind of funny that he's that guy. But like you said, if he can go out there and back up the talk on the mat, what are you going to say to him?
Can't say nothing to him.
Can't say nothing to him. That's right. So who's got some good impersonations? You got any impersonations of the coaches or any of the other guys on the team or on staff?
I don't have any. I know John's got a real good one of Coach Bentley. Caleb does a pretty good one of Coach Bentley. That's about it. Everybody's got an impression of Coach Bentley.
Do they? Well, share us yours. Then that means that then you have one. What's yours of Coach Bentley?
Mine's not good enough to share. and I haven't graduated yet, so I can still wrestle. So I don't want to take a butt whooping.
Yeah. So everybody's got one of Coach Bentley. We'll have to make sure when we get Caleb on here that we ask him for his for sure. So what about some of the other staff members? Everybody's got a good story about Coach Bentley, obviously, but what about Randall? What do we need to know about Randall that not everybody knows about him?
Randall. I don't really have any good stories about Randall. He was my teammate, and I don't have any good stories about him. I know he drives the van. Whatever the speed limit is, he's 20 miles above it. I know that. He beats everybody. He's got like lead foot. He drives so fast.
So has Randall taken Ryan's position as the worst driver on staff?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, when we're going to places, everybody tries not to get in his van. But when we're coming back from a duel or a tournament, we want to get home quicker. You got to jump in his van.
Yeah. Because if I'm not mistaken, when Ryan was here, that was him, right? Like he was. Yeah. Everybody talked about how bad of a driver he is, but it seems that has kind of shift now that he's away from here. So I'll have to keep that in mind. What about Ian? What is it that we should know about Ian?
I mean, he's a cat person, for starters. He has a cat that he loves, and he thinks his cat can beat up my dog.
Oh, wow. So he's got like a ninja cat at the house. That's
what he claims. And, I mean, my dog's supposed to be one of the toughest breeds out there, and I'm scared to bring it around his cat.
Yeah, if he talks up his cat that much, I wouldn't either. Everybody seems to say that Ian is kind of soft-spoken. He's just a guy that's going to be grinding. Like he is just a worker type of guy. So not surprising to hear him talk about his cat beating up everybody on the team.
Yeah, he's very quiet, and then when he does talk, he usually says something pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Well, Cody, we're not going to take up much more of your time tonight, man. It's good to have you back on here. I'm looking forward to following your success. I'm looking forward to you accomplishing your goals there at Nationals for sure, and coming out on the podium as a champion there at the SoCon tournament as well. So appreciate your time, Cody. Is there anything else about the characters on the team we need to know about before we let you go?
You got to get Cody Bond on here. He's a character.
Oh yeah, so
he's quiet though, so you got to get him talking. Once he starts talking, there's no telling what'll come out of his mouth. But He's quiet to begin with.
Yeah, I will tell you. Will told us a little bit about Cody. Like he's always smiling, and it's hard. I think he said they were roommates, if I'm not mistaken. No, not roommates. That was what was the young man's name? Anyways, he said Cody's pretty soft-spoken, right? And he's always smiling. He doesn't know how that he takes anything serious like he does when he gets out on the mat. When he talked about that, I kind of can relate to Cody because my mom used to say the same thing about me. Like I joined the Army out of high school. She's like, I don't know how the hell you're going to do it because you're always smiling. So when Will told that story about Cody, I knew exactly who he's talking about. So it's kind of funny because whenever I do see Cody in the gym or in the wrestling room or even out in the town, or I think I ran into you guys or the group of them at a gas station going to a football game one weekend, always has a smile on his face, man. Always has a smile on his face. That's good. That's a good personality to have. Well, Cody, I'll definitely have to get up with Cody Bond hopefully here shortly, and we'll get some good conversation with him, and hopefully he'll break out some of his impersonations for us.
Yep, got to get him talking.
All right, Cody, appreciate you, man, and the best of luck this season. Look forward to seeing you back in varsity on the 13th. Good luck Sunday. Go down there and take it to Chattanooga for us.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Have a great night.
You too.
Man, it's always fun talking to those guys. Again, the best part of what we do or what I do is talking to the young men, the student athletes of that program. Doesn't get any better, and it's kind of funny how you pick out those personalities when you're around them a little bit. Outside of them being on the mat and beating up on their opponent. So good to get to know those guys that way. Again, if you go to varsity gym, if you spend any amount of time around these guys when they're training or just doing whatever it is they're doing, you can pick out those personalities. Sunday, 2 p.m., during the duel down in Chattanooga, I'm going to have the Twitter space running where we can just chat about it. Right? Last weekend we had not last weekend, the weekend before, I think it was. We had a good conversation, just talked about it, watched the duel, watched the competition. It was cool to hang out with people that are kind of pulling for the same team and chatting about the results and the expectations. So if you're interested, go over there and join us Sunday, 2 p.m. You can hang out with us on Twitter Space. Pretty good program. It's not a video chat. It's just a chat, almost like a phone call or like a meeting call of some type they use there. So we had a good time with it. Wyatt Miller's uncle, I believe it was on there last time with us, and had a couple of other App State fans on there. So it was a good time. If you're interested, join us there. But appreciate you tuning in. Again, if you're following, like, subscribe, do whatever it is, go leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to the podcast. We would definitely appreciate that. It helps get the word out there. Have a great night, and go Apps.
This has been a production by Yosef Media.